Oh, right. Me, ready. Yes. Hello, Internet.
There you go.
We had a whole discussion.
Yep.
The problem was we talked about the fact that I'm opening, and then we had a whole off mic discussion, so I forgot. Hi, Internet. Welcome to Say Report Jr.
We should have just recorded that. No.
Nah, it's fine. Uh, this is a show for some reason, should be subscribed to, listening to, and downloading every week. I am one of your hosts, Zach Sarwick.
And I'm your other host, Dale Decker.
I'm trapped. I'm trapped by my wires and my strings. Zach's like a cat with a bunch of crap. Oh God, what did I do? There we go. We're good.
It sounded like you were starting to rap, and I was like
I-
getting
yeah,
ready for it, cause
Nope.
like I've been I've been listening to a lot of like hip hop soundtracks because of Birds of Prey.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, I
I
just
was
got.
like, oh, Zach's gonna rap. Let's do it.
Actually,
Let's do
no.
it, Zach.
Here's the thing. Here's what threw me off. For the first time in 90-ish episodes, I'm sitting down at the desk,
Holy
and
shit.
so the wire for my headset wrapped around the leg of my chair, and then I was confused because I was concerned about what direction I could turn without ripping wires out of things.
Awesome.
All right. So,
Oh my gosh.
can you tell it's been a couple weeks? Oh man.
Welcome back.
It's all of my days are blending together, Dale. It's all work.
Yeah.
It's all work. And then I came home and played. Here's the other problem. I played 2 Batman games in the last like 4 weeks.
All right.
So my days are like work and then Batman.
Well, I mean, mine has been like work and Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey, and so
It's just like all my days blending together after that. This is also the first time in a few years that like I replayed the Arkham games and I was like not excited to play them the way I usually do.
yeah.
Like, this is the first time I've replayed Arkham Asylum and Arkham City without going through like all of the Riddler trophy stuff and things like that.
yeah.
So, and part of that is because my PlayStation is so overstocked with games. I just want to finish them and say I finished them, so I feel good deleting them and not having them on the system anymore.
yeah.
But I'm like, it was just weird to like get to the end of Arkham City and be like, huh, did that again for the 3rd time. Didn't think I'd feel this meh about it at the end. Usually I'm all excited, but who knows?
Yeah.
I did then turn around and download, and I have Arkham Knight like up and ready to go. So clearly it didn't like stop me. So
And that's probably why I've never finished Arkham Asylum. I still can say that I enjoyed the game, but I've just never taken the time to finish it.
it only gets bigger and more full of shit to do.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Like,
And I'm like very slowly getting used to the idea that those are not my games anymore. I didn't think I'd be that person. I was for years always excited for like another just giant game to run around in.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh God, I hit that point where I turned 30. I'm going to be 31 this year. And I've got time. It's not like I mean, I work too much, but like I've got time to spend a few hours a night exploring big worlds. And I just don't think I want to, which is like, I don't know what I play now.
Yeah. I
I'm
gotcha.
figuring it out.
Yeah. You just gotta keep playing stuff.
I'll tell you what I
know,
don't.
New stuff,
I'll tell you what I
new
don't play.
stuff.
I'll tell you what I don't play, and that's more Kingdom Hearts. I heard a thing that told me the ending to the Remind DLC, and I was never more happy that I punted a game so hard as learning.
You bought the DLC though,
I
right?
bought the DLC. Yeah, I bought the DLC. I played through the. So the DLC comes in the 2 parts. There's
Yeah.
the, replay the end of the
Yep.
game and watch a bunch of cut content, and then there's a bunch of
Yeah.
overly tough boss battles I didn't want to do.
Mhm.
So I found out what comes at the end of the overly tough boss battles, and I went, oh, thank God, because that means I don't feel bad that I didn't play those, because it's nothing, Dale.
Nice.
Riku gets to the end of the Data Sora boss
Whoa,
fight.
hey, you gotta say spoilers. What if someone who,
Spoiler,
like,
friends, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something. Here's the thing, it's a PSA.
You gotta
Don't
throw it
worry
up.
about it.
you gotta still throw the spoiler up.
Okay, fine. Spoiler warning. You play as Data Sora again,
Yeah.
doing a bunch of boss battles, and then you get to the end of it, and it doesn't matter You get to the end of it, and it literally is like, well, that didn't work, actually, that thing we were trying.
Yeah, I
And
mean
then you
that.
do a ridiculous boss battle against the guy from the Toy Story video game section. Remember
Yeah.
in the Toy Story
Yep.
part where you jump into the video game and you
Yeah.
play as the guy with the two eyes and his name is like Yosora or
Yes.
something? Yeah, you fight him, and then there's two endings to that if you win or lose to him, and they're both pretty much the same, and they both pretty much say, oh, it doesn't, none of Kingdom Hearts mattered. It was a dream in Yosora's brain because Yosora is just one of the characters that Nomura was going to create for Final Fantasy Versus 13 before he was fired, and then they made it Final Fantasy 15. That's literally the ending. Is that Yosora wakes up in a car with characters from designs of the original Final Fantasy Versus 13, and he just says these same exact lines as Sora at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts about whether or not this is all a dream and what's real and shit. That's
So,
it.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty on brand for Kingdom Hearts. I'm not gonna lie.
But it's just the fact that like there's not even like an attempt
Yeah.
to like they're just like, well, Sora's gone. Guess that's the end now. Doesn't matter. Sora's gone, and we showed you a bunch of cut content. End of Kingdom Hearts, the saga, for now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I don't have as much shit in the game as other people,
Like,
but like, I can imagine people out there who love the game being disappointed by it. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's basically like, oh, none of the shit that just happened matters. It's basically like Deadpool, spoilers, I mean, people, I don't know. It's basically like Deadpool going back in time at the end of Deadpool 2 and fixing everything that happened in X-Men, and it's like, oh, none of that mattered. Or the end of, actually, that was probably a joke on it. But the end of Apocalypse, was it Apocalypse? No, Days of Future Past.
Days of Future
It's
Past.
the end of Days of Future Past. See, it's so bad that I have erased it from my memory.
I still argue that we would have better feelings on Days of Future Past if they just didn't bother making Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. The thing is that like Days of Future Past is a good ending to that because then that's the ending.
No.
The problem is that then you continue to make two movies that have to deal with this new timeline they created.
But they end up making two movies that are fun and good. No, hold on. No. We cannot get into this.
Okay.
Because I will go off. Because I really like Apocalypse and I really like Dark Phoenix because I like because First Class is one of my favorite X-Men movies, and it's basically following the younger versions of all these people who I grew up loving in these cool stories. Days of Future Past is just bad. It's not like, it's two different movies, and I will admit that I rewatched it, and it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was when I first watched it, because half of it is actually a really good movie, but what makes it bad and terrible is all of the future shit that goes down in it. And then it's like,
basically the entire MacGuffin of the movie.
Yes. If it was just, Wolverine time traveled back, Logan went back in time to stop this, I would have been all about it. But like, I don't know. It just is, all the future shit is so boring. That's all, we could talk, that could be a hot topic, that we could talk about that.
That future stuff is like 10 minutes out of that movie.
Yeah, and it's awful.
I mean, it's the first 5 minutes and then the last 5 minutes, though.
Yeah,
like...
but it makes it so bad. And then it, like, erases all the rest of the time. It erases the previous X-Men timelines.
Right. But, I mean, that's the point. Okay, here's the thing.
But it's like, oh, these other movies don't matter.
No,
It's
it's not
like
that they don't matter.
it's
The only
just
reason
like Endgame.
the only reason that he would go back in the first place is because the other stuff matters. See, this is the problem with the whole time travel thing and the it was all a dream idea is that people constantly shit on the idea of that meaning it erased things, but no, because you don't get to that point without the other stuff happening in the first place.
Yeah, I guess that's a
It's not
fair
about
point, but it's
it's
just
not
annoying.
that it's that like Back to the Future 2. You don't get like half of Back to the Future 2 without Back to the Future happening, despite the fact that like half of Back to the Future 2 is him going back and trying to not interfere with Back to the Future.
Yeah, but it's more delightful. it is. It is a. It is. We, hot topic. This will be a hot topic discussion.
We'll do a whole time travel episode.
I will rewatch all of X-Men, and we can talk about it. That's something that that's a task I just created.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Oh,
I do that to
God.
myself all of the time.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah.
We haven't like done any sort of like, how are you? How was
No.
your week? What have you seen? We jumped right into this.
Yeah. Because X-Men got brought up at some point. Oh, because of Kingdom Hearts. It's your fault. It's your fault.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Oh man. So what's up, Zach? How you doing?
I'm good. See, the problem is that I haven't asked you how you're doing yet because I know
Yeah.
what you've been doing, and that's gonna be a long conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
Because what you've
It's
done is
not.
you've seen
it's not
Prey
gonna,
in a number of times.
it's not gonna be that long. Because I have other stuff to talk about too. It's not just Birds of Prey. It's gonna be mostly Birds of Prey.
I don't know how, because I don't know how you've had time to do anything else.
Because I live a life. I manage time pretty well. So shit, I'm just gonna go. Here's what I've been doing.
Go.
I mean, fuck it. I watched High Fidelity. I got High Fidelity I could talk about, even though I don't really want to.
The only thing High Fidelity did was it's the reason that vinyl costs $30 now instead of yeah. High Fidelity is the reason that we have the vinyl resurgence, and it's annoying because
Is
I
it?
hate hipsters. Yes.
Is it?
Yes. Because here's the thing. No, because here's the thing.
Did High Fidelity really affect vinyl
Yes.
that much?
Yes, because what it did was it told a bunch of hipsters that vinyl was cool, so they went back to going to vinyl, and then 5 years after that, vinyl became actually viable again, and now it's having its biggest sales number since the 80s. There's literally the numbers track. High Fidelity book comes out in 95 when vinyl is at its lowest point in sales ever. The movie comes out in 2000. A bunch of hipsters see that movie and go, yeah, that's right, vinyl is cool. That's what's going to make me cool. And then throughout the early 2000s, they start buying vinyl. At the end of the 2000s, you have the hipster vinyl resurgence, and then in the mid 2010s, vinyl becomes a viable thing again. And now vinyl is having again some of its highest numbers since the 80s. Even though I would imagine that the unit numbers are actually much lower because vinyl is like 2 to 3 times the price that it was in the 80s when it was your only option. But yes.
Okay, but here's
High
the thing
Fidelity
about that.
High Fidelity definitely plays into that.
Here's the thing about that. If anything, that's so bad because Rob is like not a person that you should like work your life off of. So
neither is Tyler Durden, but
said,
guess what?
But if what you just said has any semblance of fact in it, right? That's terrible. That is not what you should have gotten from that movie, people. And if anything, it would have made vinyl prices plummet. Because
that's the thing. I mean,
why
vinyl
would you
prices
ever
were...
want to associate yourself with this terrible fucking person who loves music so much? But here's the thing. I love music so much. So, like, there's a part of me that's happy people weren't like, I'm going to start hating on music because of this person is so terrible. And then it brings in the whole discussion of, like, how terrible is Rob and all of that. But we're not getting into that. I really want to talk about Parasite and how fantastic that was, and Birds of Prey, and Sonic was fantastic. Yeah, and Home. I don't know if you've done doing anything with Pokemon Home.
Oh, I've got what 3x300 Pokemon sitting in there. I
Nice.
definitely did.
Perfect.
I definitely took advantage of the free bank download and moved my Alolan Pokemon over. I did notice I forgot that Pokemon Sun was back in the days when I still did the I'm only keeping the final evolutions and single evolution Pokemon, so I didn't have as many as I thought I would when I
Oh yeah.
opened that up.
Yeah.
So I moved those over. I also got caught. I got caught in the Wonder Box problem for about 2 days.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. Pokemon Home came out, and Pokemon Home is the, you know, store all your Pokemon in this thing, and then eventually they'll be usable for other things later thing from from Pokemon and Nintendo.
Yep.
Um, so that's what that is. What, $16 a year?
Yeah.
Um,
17 something with tax because I just paid for it.
right. And then it's cheaper if you go through. It's cheaper by like $1 if you do it through Switch instead of mobile because of uh, whatever those market prices. There's something about Google Play and iTunes that makes those more expensive for some reason if you pay for it through that. So pay for it through Switch, everybody. You'll save $1. Um,
We're not sponsored.
no, I'm saving you money by telling you to not use a product. Um, but yeah, so I did that. I have my 350 days left since I did. So
Hmm.
I moved my Pokemon over. But the other thing that it allows you to do is there's the trading system. The global trading system is back, which I noticed is only on the mobile, which is weird that like you can only use the. Am I missing something? You can only do trading through mobile, right? You
Um,
can't use the trade. You can't use the trade
I
stuff
think
in
so. Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is weird. That's my initial thoughts on home was like it's weird that I can only do some things on mobile and I can only do some things on Switch. It's like that's not. What if I didn't have room on my phone for another app?
Yeah, like my assumption is there's two things I imagine play into that, and this is all
Hmm.
entirely assumptions I'm pulling out of my butt, are like um I don't know what the numbers are on people that own Pokemon Shield and stuff like and
Yeah.
Sword and stuff like that, and who's gonna use Pokemon Home on mobile and stuff like that. So it might be easier for them to have those as two separate things. Like they only have to worry about the mobile servers doing the trading, and
Hmm.
they don't have to worry about your Switch melting, trying to accommodate all of those people doing surprise
Yeah. No.
trades. Like
Yeah.
like
I
they
mean, I get that.
I think their assumption was that like if you're on Switch, you'll just use the surprise trade in Sword and Shield. So
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
point having it in home maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's so weird. What was weird to me was also Pokemon Go is not available yet to integrate. So it's like, all right. So, but the whole reason why I feel like there's a mobile version is for Pokemon Go. So like that's interesting too. But
Yeah.
like I can wait. It's interesting about it just drives home the fact like oh there's only certain things you can do on here, certain things you can do like I don't know. I made labels or something on because I basic the main reason why I wanted Pokemon Home was so that I can have all of my Hall of Fame teams in one area, so I can be able to have them whatever. Because I'm crazy and have them sorted out. So I made labels for each game that I've beaten and put my my team under that label. But like you can't do that as far as I know on the Switch version, and I don't even know if you can give them a label in
I don't
there.
know
So
about I don't know about giving them.
if you're like trying to be anal and like
Oh,
organize your
oh, you mean
boxes.
like I'm sorry. You mean like me? You mean
No,
like
like me
someone who has
too.
spaces
That's
open in their fucking Sword and Shield boxes for the
like
Pokemon I'm missing?
don't
Yes, Dale.
you're
Believe
not
me, I noticed.
you're not the
I
only one.
noticed.
Listen, you're not the only one because I want to do because I'm gonna do the same thing. I have a box for all of my shinies. I'm probably gonna make something for Nuzlocke shit. Like it, organizing Pokemon is really fun. Um, Hi, welcome to my TED Talk. There's a lot of relaxation you can derive from organizing Pokemon. No, but it's just it's weird that those things don't. I mean, it is what it is. Like I don't. It's not like, oh my god, fuck you, Pokemon. I'm done with you forever because I can't make a label on my Switch. It's interesting to me of how that's of
Like what what choices
development
they
is what,
made.
yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's more interesting, like it's more like, oh, I wonder why they did it that way or that way, and it's like it's thoughts of development that interest me, and I you know look into and learn about, because I'm like, I'm sure what you said has very like have has some some
It,
has something to do with it, because yeah, like if you're just gonna trade Pokemon, you're probably gonna use the game.
right. It's
So,
entirely me like
like exactly what you
rationalizing their
said.
choices,
Yeah.
right? Like I have no idea why they did the things they did. I don't know if it's because of server things. I don't know if it's that like there's also a big part to the fact that like in Japan,
Hmm.
they're more likely to have, well, not only better Wi-Fi and things like that, but I mean to have your phone and your Switch on you at the same time is
Yeah. Oh yeah.
probably more of a thing.
Well.
And like they're not concerned with like the poor American infrastructure of crappy Wi-Fi and crappy data plans and
Well.
things like that. So like that's just a thing that's like, no, this makes total sense to us because like everybody's got their phone on them and you get your Switch here and then yeah, you just do this and this. It doesn't matter. You like using your phone as a secondary thing is totally normal for us. So like I have no idea. I have no idea like what the thought process was behind that sort of
No,
thing.
I was just gonna say that it's probably like it's cool. It's a cool concept because think of all of these apps that we've heard about, or all of these sites, or whatever that crash within the first day of release because of
Like
how
Pokemon
many.
Go
Yeah,
on various problems
exactly.
there. Yeah.
Like because of how much traffic is going to one thing. So like you said, by separating it out to a mobile and the Switch version, you kind of alleviate that, because the chances, I mean, it's still high because of how many people are in the world, but the chances of someone, you know, like I was doing it this morning and last night, because I had my DS, my Switch, and my phone all together at one point, but it's just for the move. And then after that, it's like, yep, okay, which one do I want to look at today? Oh, I'm already on my Switch, so why not? Like it's very cool infrastructure and development that goes into it. I don't know. That's just me. That's where I come from, and that I think is cool. But it's just weird. Like, oh, okay. It's more learning and getting down. What can I do on this one, and what can I do on this one, to make it, to help me organize my Pokemons.
Then there's the other problem, which is that like this was a thing because I've not engaged with things like Pokemon Bank on a regular basis. And like I was largely outside of the Pokemon fandom for a very long time. Apparently it's like a
Mhm.
thing to like hack these fucking games and stick in a bunch of like hacked Pokemon into the trading thing and just mess up the whole Pokemon economy.
Mhm.
And so there was a problem once this all launched, where if you were trying to surprise trade, a thing that I thought only existed in the like when I first heard about it, it was in Sword and Shield was where the problem was. I learned very quickly that that problem is also in the Wonder Box system of uh, Pokemon Home Mobile,
Yeah.
um, which is that if you stick, there's a thing called Wonder Trading, which is just surprise trade. You take a Pokemon you don't want anymore, you stick it out in the ether, and they just randomly trade it with someone else who has done the same thing, which works great until someone tries to use a Pokemon that's not supposed to be there, and Nintendo thinks that you're cheating, even though you're just accidentally receiving this thing at random, and so they start locking your account on things and breaking your whole fucking system,
Yeah.
and then you can't do things online anymore.
Yep.
Kind of the whole draw of the game.
Yeah. Yep. It's
So
just like
like,
with
so
anything,
like
you
I
got to be careful about it.
yeah, so like I paid for the expanded space and the expand and like when you use Pokemon Home for free, you get to hold 30 Pokemon in there and you get 3 of those Wonder Box like spots. And when you pay for it, you get 6,000 Pokemon. You get like 6,000 spaces for
Mhm.
Pokemon, and you can then wanted to trade 10 Pokemon at a time. So I paid for it, and I had 10 extra Pokemon, so I threw them in there. And everything was fine until about a day later when it went to go do the trade, and suddenly I couldn't get into Pokemon Home. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Well, there it is. There it is. I just lost 300 Pokemon. Not the end of the world. Not a thing that I usually care about, but also kind of annoying to throw $17 out to the fucking wind.
Exactly. Yeah.
But luckily, I did look it up, and someone found that if you like process like a ticket with like a support ticket with them, they are aware of the whole thing.
Mhm.
And like I sent an email, and like later that day, I was able to just get in, and everything was fine.
Cool.
And then the day later, I got the email from support that was like, "We received your ticket, and everything's good." Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah,
That's
cool.
good though.
We're
At
about a
least
day behind, buddy.
at
but
least
but yes,
they're on top of it. That's the
right.
good thing about this company, about Pokemon in general, is that they're on top of their shit. They're gonna fix what they need to
Like
fix.
at the very least, they're reacting very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
They're not super proactive in figuring out how to solve this problem before it starts, but they'll at least fix the problem when it happens.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Oh man. Yeah. No. The only thing I've done in Pokemon Home so far is I brought all of my all of my Pokemon from Pokemon X to home, and I feel really bad because in order to get all of them, I had to catch a level 4 Bidoof and make it my only party member.
Do you know what I?
And
You know
now
who I
that
left in?
Bidoof is just gonna live in my Pokemon. Well, I'm probably gonna erase my Pokemon X data. And, that actually just made me shiver a little bit. No, it didn't.
Do you know who I left in Sun?
Oh, God. Oh.
I left him with a Ditto.
Yeah, so,
I left him with my Ditto.
Yep. And I caught the Bidoof, and I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. Like, you're gonna be alone until I erase this game.
Yeah, but you know what? That Bidoof is gonna get more love than Bidoof has ever gotten. So.
Hey, Bidoof is. I like Bidoof kind of.
fine.
It's got a
It's-
little
Bidoof-
red nose.
Bidoof is-
It basically looks like Dale from Chip and Dale, but like it's it's not
Still
bipedal.
one of the better accounts I've ever followed on Twitter, by the way, is
Is
the
Bidoof?
Bidoof account,
Yeah.
because sometimes you
the
just say Bidoof randomly in a tweet and you get a reply from it that just says Bidoof, doof, Bidoof,
Yeah, it's
Bidoof,
great.
doof.
It's great. It's probably one of my favorite meme Pokemon. Shuckle being the number one.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I brought over all my ex Pokemon, and I a while ago I made a note on my phone of all my Hall of Fame Pokemon from each game and like dates of completion. And so I'm like, cool, I can finally, get all of my Hall of Famers together. And I'm re-looking at my list for X, and I'm like, oh man, this is such a weird team to go into the Elite Four with and to beat the game with.
If it wins,
Hey.
it's not that weird.
No, yes, I mean, you're not wrong. But, like, Pokemon X was my first game, and, like, you can kind of see how my teams have evolved. So my team, when I beat Pokemon X, was Lucario, Delibird, Leafeon, the legendary, Xerneas is how I'm going to pronounce it.
The big dragon bird thing?
No, the reindeer.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so Xerneas, Vaporeon, and Jolteon.
So of course there was 3 evolutions in there.
Yeah, and like it didn't really spark in my mind that I had 3 evolutions until I was sorting them in home, and I'm like, did I really take 3 of the evolutions with me?
I mean, at this point, you
Elite
could take them
Four?
all.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can only take 6 at a time.
Okay, yes,
But
I mean,
yes.
like you could do a whole team and
Yes.
probably still do pretty well
Oh,
if
yeah.
you
Of
train
course
them
you
with the
could.
right moves.
Of course you could. But
By
yeah,
the way,
and
nothing's
also,
more annoying, Sword and Shield, than the fact that I cannot sit down with all 9 Eevees at the same time,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
8 evolutions plus Eevee. The
Yeah.
fact that I cannot sit there at a camp
Let
with
me
all
tell you,
9 of them. Ugh.
Zach. Let me tell you, I've already been there. I wrote the book. I've been there. A vacation. I bought a home. No, I've been. Yeah, no. This has been my constant thought about Sword and Shield. Is why can't I hang out with all 9 of them? No. But
Give
yeah,
me the
I
end of
also.
give me the end of the Muppet movie. Let me go to a camp with all 400 Pokemon.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I also just love that I had a Delibird. Like
Fucking like I'm gonna throw a present that does random things.
I
Cause why not? Let's
I
get some RNG into the
oh
final
my god.
into the Elite Four.
I need to look at what the move set for Delibird was, because I feel like there was a specific reason why I had Delibird other than the fact that I thought it was adorable.
Well, I mean it's ice. Like there's not a lot that can go against ice.
But Zach, you need to
So
remember at those times
ice
I
is
did not care about type
that's
matchups.
true. So yeah, that's true.
And I still barely care about type matchups. But yeah, it's just I have a feeling that I needed it for a TM or HM or whatever, and I was like I needed it for Surf, and that's why it's on my team. But then I remember, oh wait, there's a Vaporeon there, and it's like, all right, maybe I need a Delibird for Fly. Who knows? So I really need to look at its moves again because I haven't looked at that. But yeah, and I don't know. It's just such a funny team when I look at it compared to my other teams. And my team for there's like an evolution also where I realized, oh, I don't need to use the legendary on my final team. I can just put it away. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean they're strong, but
My
it's a game of
Lucario.
rock paper scissors. It doesn't matter if your paper is not legendary,
Yeah.
as long as it beats a rock.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But the first 3 games that the first 3 Pokemon games I beat, X, Alpha Sapphire, and Moon, every single one of them had the legendary on the team. Then Ultra Sun, that went out the window. And Ultra Sun, Let's Go Eevee, and Sword and Shield have not had a legendary on the team.
Really? Because I definitely had both. Had both Eternatus and Zeb. I call him Zams. I don't know her actual name anymore. The
Yeah.
shield, the big bushy beard.
Yeah.
I
No,
definitely had them with me.
did not. Nope. I was just like, you're cool,
The one
but I'm really
the big one,
attached to my team.
the big one I remember is that for Let's Go Pikachu, I definitely had a Alolan Raticate with me of all fucking things. Because I was like, Dark is good against a bunch of stuff. Let me put that on there, and then I never used it for like
Oh
for
my
5
God.
battles,
That's great.
all Elite Four plus the champion. I don't think I ever touched Raticate.
Jesus. He was there. He was. They were there, and it was
They were
a
my
member
ringer.
of your
They
team.
were my surprise, just in case.
Yeah, no, it's good. You'll shock the people. You'll shock the Pokemon into fainting.
It'll be. I mean, I'll cause confusion just by putting it out there. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? What the fuck?
Oh man. Oh yeah. So I'm having fun looking back at all my Pokemon from my previous games and being like, oh, I remember this and I remember that. Oh, it's fun times. Fun times with Pokemon. So I do want to get to the point of I have seen Birds of Prey 5 times in the theater. I'm just
Good
gonna
movie.
rip the Band-Aid and
It's a
we're
damn
gonna go
good movie.
right into that. It's a fantastic, excellent movie.
Here's one of the things. So here's one of the things I really like about that movie, and to go back to the soundtrack real quick, because you mentioned listening to the soundtrack a bunch.
It's fucking bitchin'.
So
So good.
I had seen like it was a headline or a tweet or something about the fact that this is one of the first, if first, like female-led of the modern comic book movies of both like DCEU and MCU. This was like the first female-led one that took place basically today, as opposed to the 90s or World
Yeah.
War One or whatever.
Modern.
And like I
modern
think
day.
that the soundtrack like
It's all female. It's all women.
exemplifies that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's just the fact that it's all new
all-
music.
Yep.
It was all stuff that surprised me because like like Captain Marvel, it was so obvious that I'm Just a Girl was going to be in that movie
Yeah.
that it was not surprising in any way.
Mhm.
But the fact that the thing about Birds of Prey was that like it managed to surprise me in a lot of ways that I was not expecting surprises. Believe it or not, that's how words work. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Um.
yeah, it was such a delight because especially after Suicide Squad. I know you like Suicide Squad more than I do, but I have always felt like Margot Robbie managed to go just a little over like Harley Quinn should be over the top, but it always felt just on the edge of grading for me, and it even was for like the beginning of of Birds of Prey. By the end of that movie, I fucking loved it because I think what happened was that by the end of that movie, she had other people to bounce off of that were like equal to her.
Mhm.
I think part of the problem with me with Suicide Squad is that she blows most of them out of the water to the fact that like it's just like such an obvious like signpost in the middle of a bunch of crap in that movie.
Mhm.
And I think at the beginning of Birds of Prey, it's so heavily her by herself that I was like, oh, this is a little much. And then by the end of it, when you've got three other people bouncing off her, I'm like, this is good. This evens out everything, and I love every second of
Hmm.
it.
I loved it so much I saw it 5 times. Zach.
Oh yeah, no, I liked it. No, let me be clear. It was a great movie. But that was my personal feelings
Yeah.
going into it,
Yeah.
and so like I loved that by the end of it, I was so happy by it. I was so
Yeah.
happy with like the product overall.
Yeah.
But
It's just
5 times, I haven't seen a movie. I've never seen a movie like. Well, that's a lie. I've seen The Proposal for some reason a bunch of times, and it's because
but
I
in
went to
the
the.
theater.
Yes, because I saw it in theaters, and then it kept playing with other stuff I was seeing at the drive-in.
Interesting.
So it just kept being the movie before the other movie at the
Interesting.
drive-in.
Yeah, no. I've been saying people, hey, I've been mentioning I've seen Birds of Prey 5 times, and the reaction is like, what? You have? Like, there's other movies. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm seeing those other movies too. It's just this is on top of that because I love it so much, and it's one of these movies where it's like I want to see it in the theater as much as possible. Also, considering it's probably not lasting after this week, which makes me really sad.
It will. Here's the thing.
I don't
Yes,
know.
it is. It's still playing on 3 screens with like 9 shows a day at Showcase.
I
It's
don't know.
definitely a movie that will continue out. I I think
Here's the thing.
no. Here's the
I
thing.
hope so, but
It's
I
definitely
don't
not
know.
getting it's definitely not getting the support it deserves. It's not disappearing next week. This is a movie that will be in theaters for the next month. It just will, but it will go down to like 1 screen and 3 shows a day.
Mhm.
But it's definitely a movie that's going to continue. That's mostly how WB operates.
Listen,
But like the idea that it will suddenly disappear next week, that's bullshit. No one like not to say that to you, but I mean to anybody out there who thinks that this movie is like bombing or something. No, it's not. Like the movie's not going to be fine. It needs more support, but it's not going to like suddenly disappear into the ether. The way that like the way that people talk about this movie like it's an apocalypse for it is so overblown
okay,
compared to the fact that I think it's going to be fine.
okay, that's fine. I want to be wrong, but I very cautiously optimistic because I don't want. I'm already sad if it that people aren't really giving it what it deserves or talking about it in the way. But like that being said, a lot of the when I search the hashtag and stuff because I've been tweeting about it, there's people who are giving it the who are talking about it and praising it and all that. But yeah, but anyways, I hope it's there.
Here's the biggest
nervous.
indication. Dale, it's a month later, and The Turning is still getting fucking shows at the theater. I can't, like,
yeah, but
yes, they stretch those out because they're horror movies, but The Turning still has at least a show a day in theaters.
Hey, listen, I hope so.
Like,
It just does it from the stuff that I've seen in theaters, from the stuff that, just from going to see it 5 times and seeing the lack of people in each showing. It's just all right. This does not feel like it's gonna last because I've been in that situation before where I've been to a movie a few times or I've seen it and I'm like, this isn't lasting 2 weeks, and that ends up being the case. Even if it has a good amount of showings, that ends up being the case. I'm basing it off of previous events and also what I have seen and heard about this movie. That's all I can go off of.
Yeah,
But I
I don't
hope
know.
I'm
Like,
wrong. I
I
hope
think
I'm wrong
I
because
think a big
it gives me more chances to go see it.
I think a big problem is that this movie is falling to a lot of things that are like one person says something and then like five people decide to report on that one person says, and then all of a sudden you've got a bunch of articles about this thing that these five sites reported, but they're all reporting what this one person said randomly, and so all of a sudden it feels more overblown than it is. Like I'm like again, like it's definitely a movie that I saw a review for the first time today that talked about that labeled it as Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey. That's the first time in 3 weeks since someone announced it like a week and a half ago that they were going to change the name of the movie because they were so concerned about it that
Um
anybody actually did anything.
so
I have not seen
here's
anything else that
here's
has
my
actually
question.
changed the name of that movie.
Here's my question for you. Have
Yes.
you Googled it?
No.
Okay, if you Google it,
I know, but Box
it
Office Mojo still, when I went to go look it up today, still had it as
okay,
Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Still had that name on it when I looked at
okay,
it yesterday.
that's fine. But I'm saying, like, if you Google that movie right now, it shows up as Harley Quinn colon Birds of Prey, and that is it's that's where people are going to. That's what the average person is going to
That's
first.
yes, that's fair. That's entirely
So,
fair.
like, if Film Mojo, or I mean, it's still it's still Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn on IMDb. Like, but those are databases, so of course it's gonna be there. But Google is where, like, the average person who is trying to get information on this movie is going to see it
Right.
called
So let me
Harley
put it this way.
Quinn Birds of Prey.
So let me
That's
think of
where
it
you
this
get
way.
the overview, the show times, the cast. That's where you get it. So
And yet, and you know what I think it is? It's because it's very easy to change that on Google and not do anything else for no money. You can literally, people, like companies have accounts that they can go to with Google to change that, and then they don't have to put any money anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Yes, that's what shows up when you go on Google, and then when you go to the theater, nothing has changed because they have not spent any money on new posters. They
yeah,
have not
no,
spent any money on anything
obviously,
else.
no, they're not going to. The thing about it being the name change is it's not a live die repeat situation. It's not really Edge of Tomorrow situation. This name of the movie is still Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. But it doesn't change the fact that it is, in some areas, getting marketed as Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. It's being written as, and there have been articles that call it that.
Right. It's weird
have
because
seen
it's like
it
someone...
at a theater. There was a theater that was calling it Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. And,
It's
whatever,
weird because what it feels like they did was they sent out a press release, and so some people changed it and some people didn't. Because yes, I'm on Google right now. I look it up. It says Harley Quinn Birds of Prey at the top, and then as I scroll down, nothing else has it labeled that way. Like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb,
yeah, because
nothing
people
actually
probably
bothered
figured
to
out.
go in.
Well, no, but I mean, because people were probably like, that's stupid and is not worth it, which is another good thing, in my opinion, that you're not seeing it changed. Because it shouldn't be changed. You should go off with the name that you gave. But like marketing is not
thing.
Obviously marketing isn't going to change, but it was just for that ticket sale thing. It's that they thought, oh, if we shorten the name, we're going to sell tickets. But in actuality, a name, I don't know. I have a lot to say about that, but whatever. I don't want to talk about that because there's
Doesn't matter because
it's
a good movie and everybody should see it. Everybody should go see this fucking
fantastic.
movie. If you like Tank Girl, you should see this movie because that's all I could think of watching this was, oh my god, it's 2020 Tank Girl. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god. I can't stop thinking about the moment. There's one single fucking moment in this movie that like defines the whole fucking movie for me, and that is when they are it's toward the end, but it's when Canary and Hutchins are actually in a fucking room together for the first time, and it's the rage issue joke,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, I wish I don't know how to better show I don't know how to better show this scene, but like the thing that I love about that moment, that 30 seconds, is that when she's making fun of her for having rage issues, it is probably the first time that Canary looks like she's having fun in the entire movie. And that's on purpose because her character's been fucking locked under fucking Ewan McGregor the whole movie. But the moment that she did that and she's laughing at Huntress, the smile on her face, I went, oh my God, I could do an entire movie of these two fucking fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen someone more happy to fucking just like jab at another person than this 30 seconds in this movie.
Yeah. No, I mean it makes me excited for the other two movies that hopefully will be coming out. I don't know if they're I think they're confirmed. But the Sirens movie and then Birds of Prey versus Sirens, like that is very exciting for me. It's just they're just so good. The characters are great. The evolution of the characters is great. I have picked up on small character traits between them throughout all of my viewings. There is just mise en scène that is beautiful. It's just it's so good. It's an excellent movie. Like it's an excellent and I'm sure there are people out there who are saying, like, bringing up the fact that they're chasing a diamond and they're all women. I can totally talk about that, but and I'm sure somebody is like, oh, the whole thing is that, like, there are definitely, I'm sure, I don't know, I can't say this for sure, but from watching it, I'm like, I can see the parts that people with one viewing can be like, this is problematic. But
I haven't
then
even seen that, which is weird.
but then I can also completely break down why it's not problematic and why you viewing it as problematic is actually what's problematic.
It's the idea that it's trying to subvert so many things. It is an
Yeah.
idea of it is a movie that without for a movie that literally has a scene in which cocaine is shot up and she gets high and then beats up a bunch of fucking dudes with a baseball bat. This is a movie that actually is doing a bunch of really subtle shit.
Oh,
in that it is a movie that is definitely about like that wants to be like, here's a bunch of different types of toxic relationships women have with men and here's how they overcome them, but it doesn't actually sit there and spend the whole movie going, men are trash, men are trash. It just shows you a bunch of trashy dudes.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the better way that it does that. And so like the whole idea of the diamond is that, yeah, they're chasing a diamond, but they're chasing a diamond because they need to give the diamond away to someone and run away.
Exactly.
Or like it means something.
Like
it's more than just a diamond.
The reason why they're chasing the diamond is literally so that they can help this person get her fortune back and like right the wrong that has been done to her.
Right. It's the idea that the diamond is more than just a diamond. They're not trying to chase the diamond because the diamond is beautiful. They're trying to chase the diamond because the diamond is actually fucking important.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like that's what I was thinking. Like my latest viewing of it, and I'm like, there are moments in this that I can totally see. Again, I haven't seen anything written, and I really don't think. I've started playing 3-dimensional chess with this movie, is what I'm gonna say, because there are now moments in it where I'm like, I see what's actually going on. Like, I have just been having so much fun with this movie in my head and in my freaking headcanon and all of that. But that within that world of my brain, there's also like, I wonder if somebody looks at this moment in the film and is like, that's problematic. And if somebody does, I would want to have a discussion with them and see why they think it's problematic. Like, actually have not a fight. I don't want to fight with people because that's never my goal. I don't like fighting. I just want to talk to somebody who thinks like the fact that, what was I thinking of last night? Oh, the fact that, okay, spoilers for Birds of Prey, but the fact that Harley misses her shot and then Cass has to blow up Ewan McGregor, like, or blow up Roman. The fact that, like, I could totally see, and again, this is just me. I don't think this is me playing devil's advocate for myself. But I could see someone being like, oh, it's problematic that she gets her big moment and then flops. But it's like, all right, I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, why does she have to be perfect?
Right.
Why can't she make a mistake? Why? And this, I'm sorry if this fucks with people's brains, but this is all I could think of. Why couldn't she have missed on purpose? Why couldn't she have seen Cass grab the grenade and be like, and then remember while they're on the pier that, oh, Cass has a grenade, I might miss to draw them out. That's what I mean by I'm playing three-dimensional chess. And if, yeah.
Here's the thing. But, well, here's the thing. This is where you benefit from a movie where there isn't one woman in the cast. Yeah. In that, what you have is there are let me think. Harley, Cass.
There's 5 of them.
Montoya. 5. Yes. There are 5 women in this cast, which means that you can have one of them be kind of bumbling because Huntress wouldn't have missed that shot. Guess what? She's not in that scene. Yeah. There's a reason she's not standing there.
But here's the thing, and I think it might be because this movie also for me is probably the closest I will ever get to a Gwenpool movie. And also, even though Gwenpool has nothing to do with Deadpool, this also felt like a very Deadpool-esque movie in a lot of ways, of just like, it's gonna be balls to the wall, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be better than Deadpool. But it very much was like the closest. Hopefully, I would love to be wrong on this, because I would love a Gwenpool movie, but I feel like this is the closest I'm going to get to a Gwenpool movie. And that moment, watching that final scene again, I'm like, I can totally see Harley Quinn being like, I'm gonna miss on purpose, because that way I can draw them out, and hopefully Cass is as slippery as I hope she is and kind of have taught her to be, and she pulls that fucking grenade out, and then I can just drop him over the side of the pier. And, like, she makes the facial expressions of, like, genuine surprise, but you need to remember, she has lived a life of manipulation and being manipulated. So she can play it off in this way of, oh, I'm genuinely surprised, but no, I planned that from the beginning. And that just, like, makes the final scene a little bit, it was already fantastic, but now, after watching it 5 times, it's like, oh, that's even cooler. And that could not be what's going on, and that's fine too, but, like, it's 2 different universes in my brain.
Yeah, no, I personally like the idea that she gets lucky and is very good at improvising. Yeah. Like, that's my version of that, which is also fine. But like,
yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing
whatever
about
version
it
of that is that like,
you can interpret it in whatever way, but that what I'm saying of like the whole like, oh, she's planned it from the beginning, feels very like, it feels DC in a lot of ways, but it also kind of feels like Gwenpool in a lot of ways. She gets lucky, but also she can plan shit and be like, I'm gonna have this happen, and hopefully it happens. It's just, I don't know. It just makes, that movie is just my favorite movie of the year so far. So also, I mean, less, somewhat spoilery, but I'm just gonna say this: the fucking hand carousel might be one of my favorite fight sequences in an entire fucking movie. Here's incredible.
Here's the thing. So this movie has the entirety of the MCU, the entirety of every DC movie that's come out. Here's the thing: this movie, some of the best action sequences of any of those movies, because this was a movie that and this is entirely on the director, Kathy Yan. I also think it's very important, not just that this is written and directed and produced by women. It was also one of the few movies in this whole fucking genre directed by an Asian woman. Um, but the action sequences in this movie, someone finally fucking figured out that good action sequences are readable, that
Mm-hmm.
you can watch them,
Yeah.
that they don't make you fucking dizzy. It's just like, here's a long take of a bunch of people doing a bunch of fucking stunts,
Yeah.
and also we didn't make everything black and white so you can actually see what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, no. It's so good. It's so clean. Like it's just so smooth and it flows really really fucking well. And I mean, there's a reason why I've seen it so many times. There's something about it that keeps getting me to come back. And I won't and you know, to work away from Birds of Prey for a little bit. Like there are other fantastic movies that are out right now. Like everybody should try and see Parasite if you can. Everybody should try and see Sonic if you can, because let
Oh
me
my
tell
god,
you about
Sonic. Oh
Sonic.
my god, Sonic is
You,
so
it's
fucking dumb
so
and good.
fucking good.
Jim Carrey should have been dancing for 10 more fucking minutes.
Yeah,
I would have watched that movie. Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
the thing is like Sonic also gonna get some more Decker viewings. Let me tell you,
And
because of
that was
just how
definitely
fantastic it is. Like, it's just there's a lot of
that's
really good
that's
movies
gonna
right
get a
now.
sequel. Sonic is definitely gonna get a sequel, and if it doesn't, I'll eat my fucking boot. Like, oh my god. And can we spoilers for Sonic? The fucking Tails at the end of that, I didn't even think they would even bother. The fact that they even put in 30 fucking seconds of Tails in that movie makes me so fucking happy.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It was so good, and it was so good because it wasn't like really a kids movie. Like we're not
and
gonna
and yet
play up the fact that it, I mean it like in a lot of ways.
it isn't it isn't like it's perfectly for like 11-year-olds, which means that it's going to appeal to 6-year-olds and it's going to appeal to 20-year-olds. If you make something for 11 to 12-year-olds, it's like fucking perfect in both directions
Yeah.
after that.
It's just it's for everybody. Like the so after we saw it, the security guard at the theater was like, "So how was it?" And we said it was fantastic. He goes, "Yeah, no, good." Like everybody seems to be enjoying it. Like adults, kids, just every. It seems like a movie that is legitimately for everybody, and that's pretty cool. And like,
It's in the
yeah,
Shrek slot. Like it's in the like and the idea that like it's appealing in so many different ways. And like it was so funny because I saw like a headline or something that was like about the fact that like there are people mad that it was made for kids and that he does the floss dance from or whatever in it, and then a bunch of the headlines were like, "No shit, what do you think your kids are doing?
yeah.
Your kids are playing fucking Fortnite and seeing that dance all the time. Of course he fucking does that, and it's fucking
But but
hilarious."
he's also a kid. Like that's kind of the whole point of
Point of the
it is
movie.
that Sonic very much in this is a kid. Like
he
he's
is
a
like he is a
teenage boy.
he is a like
He's
he's
a
like
teenage
he's a
hedgehog.
13-year-old with ADD, and he's fucking great.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So
uh,
we
uh,
didn't really talk about Parasite, which is good because I don't want to give too much away. Other than it is fan fucking tastic, and everybody should go see it. And if you're stopping yourself from seeing it because people keep saying it's a horror movie, don't, because it's
it's
not a horror movie. It's
no, not horror,
suspenseful at
thriller,
best,
very
but
different.
it's
Yes,
just
but
it's like I wouldn't even go as far as say thriller, but you know, it was categorized as thriller on YouTube, as you said. So hey, it's categorized that somewhere, but it's if that's what's keeping you from watching it, don't, because it's so much more
it
than that.
it
It's
won
not
Best
like
Picture for a reason. There's a lot of talk to
yeah.
talk about it. It goes far deeper than some of the conversation around it. I wish I gotta find the I wish I knew the headline for it or what website it was with. But after you watch it, there are great articles about it, about Parasite and colonialism. Just that. That's all I'm gonna say. Go like Google those terms afterwards, and hopefully you find this article about it that is fucking great about like there's so many deeper things that go into that that are more than just the surface level of that movie that everyone wants to talk about.
Yeah.
And then go watch like The Host and Snowpiercer. I still have to watch Okja, which was by the same director.
Mhm.
And is on, I think, was a Netflix original. There's one more that I haven't seen from him that I still want to watch, but like The Host and Snowpiercer, especially with Chris Evans, is fucking phenomenal. Not the TV show. I've heard the TV show is crap, but the movie, Chris Evans, John Hurt, Octavia Spencer, Tilda Swinton. Oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah. No, it is. So yeah, go do that. Go watch movies, people. Go play Pokemon. I guess I don't know. If you don't want to play Pokemon, don't play Pokemon. But that's
And
fine.
if you got like 11 extra bucks, go see Fantasy Island because it's fucking weird and I need other people to talk about with it. Fantasy Island confused me and interested me in a way I never expected that movie to do. So
I don't know. I may see it at
no.
some point.
Like, here's
I
the thing.
don't know.
If it's gonna show up on like a streaming service at some point, and then watch it. If you don't feel like spending money on it, it'll show up on a streaming service, and then you should watch it because I just like it. They distilled an entire CW series into 100 minutes, and it just blows my mind. So
Great.
like it felt so much.
Me and CW are
I know.
totally simpatico right now.
I know. Like, I'm talking about the Riverdale side of things, not the DC side
I
of
know.
things. But
It was just fun to say simpatico on our podcast.
Michael Pena should always be given his due. No one's ever going to be Ricardo Montalban, but I mean, if you're going to put someone else in that role, you can't go wrong with Michael Pena. So.
Oh man, I think on that, I think we're gonna call it.
Cool.
But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, you can find us on, well, if you already found us, you know where to find us, but you can listen to us on other areas too. You can listen to us on Spotify and YouTube and other podcast apps. You can find us on Twitter. I already said YouTube, right? Yeah. You can find us on Twitter at sayreportjr, and you can find both of us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at Dale's Brain.
And I'm at Jerwisky.
And with that, I want some ice cream. And yeah, that's it. Take it away.
Bye.
Take
it away, Liz.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowik. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.